Yeah, so like I kind of wanted to start off by talking about albums and like your kind of relationship with them growing up. Do you kind of remember the first album that you really gravitated to and you got really obsessed with and just couldn't stop listening to?
My goodness.
I know what it is.
Go.
Highway to Hell by AC/DC.
Oh god.
It was a defining moment of my life. I used to go to sleep listening to it. Yeah, that's the first album I ever listened to, I think.
I think the first album I ever probably listened to was such a goth child, Murder Ballads by Nick Cave. But I put it on my little iPod Touch that I had before I went to bed, and listened to it. But I'd always fall asleep listening to it, and then wake up and have really bad nightmares about like having stones in my pockets because of all the like imagery and all the songs and stuff. So I listened to that to death, and then maybe screwed myself up a wee bit because of listening to that every night, and then stopped listening to it because I got too scared. I've not listened to it since.
That's scary.
And were there like any pieces of art as well that you kind of gravitated to growing up, like outside music, like artists and stuff that kind of influenced what you were creating as musicians?
Artists.
Yeah, like that aren't musicians.
I grew up in like my mum and dad were always really into art, and they'd always take me to art fairs and everything. And I always was like around Peterhausen and all that kind of distorted and contorted human kind of interactions. Heather Neve from Scotland as well. We loved her work like for years, and then ended up in her paintings. So that's quite like nice, and she has like very surreal. She focuses a lot on kind of like the fragility of youth and everything, which is kind of like us. He's a simple boy.
Yeah.
He's a simple boy.
I guess the reason I was kind of asking is because like your visual aesthetic is almost like as defined as your music. You know, it's really well like kind of defined. Was that something that you kind of got into from the off, like having quite a clear aesthetic, or was it something that you more kind of developed over time and you became passionate about?
It's definitely developed.
Yeah, it's like they're both the visual aspect and the musical aspect are kind of developed as the one thing.
I think it all kind of when you're passionate about something and have a clear idea of how you see it in your head, it's always easy to put it onto a screen of how you envision it. And I think the stronger we get with our songs and everything, the stronger the visuals come with it as well, because we know exactly what we want to put across. We know what we like. You don't stop going on about that. Directing.
Gregor Aki.
Yeah. So stuff like that definitely it's definitely influenced by like films and directors and stuff as well as art, like outside art.
And can you see quite a clear link between the two as they're developing, like as your music develops and as your style develops? Can you see the link between the two developing together, like in tandem, or do you think it's quite unrelated?
Definitely related. I think there's also a pressure, like the better your songs get, the more people want to see of like, you can't let one of them slide because then people think like it's one way. Got to keep the ball rolling all the time.
And obviously, like with yourself as well, kind of coming into the band a little bit after it started, what kind of an impact did you see like upon the songwriting process? Was it quite different after you came into the band?
No, well, yeah, because Melly writes songs as well. Whereas before it was mostly just like the songs would come from me, and then we'd all like put in our bits. But yeah, no, there's not just one of us that writes songs. Like we both write songs separately, write songs together. But like it now just feels, I don't know, like it's always been this way. I know it hasn't, but it just feels natural now.
It's the only thing I know, so.
Was there like a moment at any point when you like felt it kind of all click into place? Like you're saying, it always feels like it's been this way. Was there a moment when it all felt like it came together and it was working really well?
I think when we started recording the album,
Yeah.
we're like, oh yes, we've got our shit together.
Yeah.
Like, what? How did this happen? But it's, I can't think of a specific specific moment. There's never been a point where I've thought, I don't want to do this.
No.
Which is good. Long may it continue.
And so were all the songs in the album written after you came into the band?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, with the album, obviously the decision to split it into 2 parts. At what point did that kind of come into the process? Was that something you had in your head from the get-go, or was it kind of midway through that idea came up?
It was halfway through.
Yeah.
Because it was written as an album, and all the songs were like written in like a 6-month period.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I think it was like halfway through recording, we were like, this would work, split. But
Yeah.
it was more so in like basically to get more out of the songs we were making, because we've now basically had this whole year of the one album and like promoting this album. Whereas if it all came out, when did the first album come out?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
We'd be long forgotten.
Yeah, people would want something else now, and we're
Yeah,
not ready to do something else yet.
exactly. I mean, we've got a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, but no, it was definitely a greedy decision.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think it has helped like draw more attention to the individual songs, to the individual parts of the album?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely some songs on the second half of the album that deserve a lot more attention than they would get just being songs that are halfway through an album, or like the first song of a second CD of an album or something. By viewing them as like the first song of the second part, it's like makes it much more of a thing, or like we get much more room to play with, and definitely bring more light to certain things,
Yeah.
which I think is really good. Because we tried really hard.
And had you already decided the track listing when you split it? Was it very much split down the middle, or did that kind of have an impact upon where you put the pieces of the puzzle with it being split into?
Yeah, it wasn't that difficult.
Nah, we knew the definite openers, but the first track of the first half, the last track of the second half, first half, like the start and finishes, and then the way everything else falls in between.
That was such a nothing answer.
Well, we knew what was going to open it, and we
Yeah,
knew what was
yeah.
going to finish it.
Yeah.
Was that not what the question was?
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned the opening track there, like it's such a great opener to the album, because it kind of introduces you to like the sounds of the album and like the palette of it and what's going to happen, but at the same time it's kind of like it's not a quiet one, like it hits you in the face. At what point did it become the opening track, and was it always going to be, or was it ever a bit of wiggle room? Or did you always know, like you say, that it was going to be those tracks, the opening and close?
It was always the track that was like very solid, even as a demo. But when we started to record it, we kind of realised that it was the kind of song that introduced all of these like new kind of themes and new musical passages we were exploring throughout the album, and it just so happened to have like a little bit of everything, and kind of almost like a little snapshot of what the album was going to be. Just happened that way.
And I mean, the music video for that's amazing. Like it works so well with the song. It's just a brilliant video. How much of a say did you have upon the video? Was that your idea, or did you work with a collaborator for that?
That was Brian Ferguson, the director. He approached us with a treatment, and we've loved every single music video he's done in the past. He's done some of our favourite artists' music videos, and we're like so stoked that he wanted to work with us. And he's Scottish, so how much better can it get?
How does like collaborating with a director compared to collaborating with musicians? Is it quite a different process?
I really like it because they see things in such a different light, because we're all audio and they're very visual. So Brian listened to the song and then wrote a treatment and visualised it the way he saw it in his head, and it's always going to be different the way someone hears it, how they see it. I think it's always really interesting to see how different people pick things up.
And I mean, throughout that first half as well, you know, it's quite intense at times. It's quite an intense listen. Does that reflect the process making it, or what was the environment like in the studio and the atmosphere?
It was intense at times.
It was quite intense.
Yeah. So yeah.
We had a good time.
Yeah.
We had a great time. There was always stuff going on that made you like have to proper like knuckle down and think. And we spent like one day once literally just trying to figure out how to MIDI in one of the modules, and it was like we were on a time restraint, and it's like we literally just wasted a day trying to plug something in. Like, what is going on? It just like, so it's never easy recording an album, but we're proud of what we made of, and we had a good time. We're still here.
Do you find your personalities like change in the studio at all? Do you think you're kind of different people when you're in there working as to outsider?
We're not healthy people when we're in the studio.
It's bad. Yeah. It's bad. I think if you kind of you definitely feel more focused. I feel I'm a much better person when I'm in the studio. I get a lot more shit done, but at the same time, I get stressy about things a lot because
it's because you're in like the same space with the same people. Like, whoa, how
in a high pressure environment.
Yeah, it was like 5 weeks.
Yeah,
I think so. Like that, and then you kind of forget that there's another world out there, and you're not like, it's not just that little room. So it's easy to get lost and get caught up.
Go a bit.
Yeah.
Is it similar to being on stage at all in that sense, like where you lose yourself in stage?
Nah,
it's totally different because you're not like you're thinking really specifically about like little bits, whereas like performing is like you're just like
in the moment. You lose yourself. Everything has to be perfect when you record. So there's like constantly things going through your head. Which is good. Made us better musicians.
Yeah.
Better live performances.
And I wanted to ask about the cover as well, because it's such an effective image that fits so well again with the sound of the album. Where was that photo taken, and what is that image kind of especially yourself, but whereabout are you in that?
It was my brother that did it, and we did it in the like garage bit of our studio. But the red like picture is meant to like be like the womb, and then you're walking away from that. It'll make sense when you see the full thing.
There's like a tri-fold in the album that all makes sense. Looking, appreciating, moving on. That's what it's all about.
On your Infancy.
Yeah.
And is the second half like kind of a bit different to the first? Because like the single that you've put out, it's a bit rockier, you know, kind of maybe than some of the stuff in the first half. Does that kind of reflect with the second one to go in there?
No, the next one's like the opposite of that.
I think, well, in a way, it's a bit. The second half is like quite unexpected from us, I think. So maybe the first single was like a nice tease of.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what it is. Surprise! It's actually nothing.
Yeah, the other songs are not like that.
They're very different. Expect the unexpected.
I mean, going away from like the studio and the album into playing on stage, like kind of mentioned earlier. I mean, you've toured this year with Blinders, Ionica, played with Churches at the Hydro. Are there things that you learn from those bands when you're watching them play and touring with them that you kind of pick up and then use yourselves when you're on the stage?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily sounds. It's almost like their confidence and just their like stage personalities that they have. They're all such different people when they go on stage. Like obviously, like the Blinders have like Johnny Dreamer, what's it called, and like they have this persona that they just adapt to when they go on stage. And sometimes I feel like I can walk on stage and be pure, oh, here we go, like yeah, I can't believe I'm here. And and like Teresa as well, just like the confidence they have as front people. It's just definitely inspiring. Definitely inspiring.
I mean, when you're on stage, you know, and at times you've got like hundreds of people like all adoring you as you're up there performing. When you then kind of come back into real life, you know, you're maybe like working at a day job in a coffee shop or whatever. Is that ever tough to kind of go from that change?
I love it. I like working in a coffee shop and chatting rubbish to people all day, and then there was the day we played the Hydro, I was working in the coffee shop, and then I went straight from my job to sound check, and then played to a room that held 13,000 people. And then the next day people were like, oh, did you do anything nice last night? I was like, yeah, played the hydro, and everyone was like, haha, nice. Just like,
Yeah.
nothing. Just like, validate me, validate. But nah, keeps you grounded.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Kind of to round off with one last question, what has kind of given you like the greatest sense of achievement as a band so far, like over the last couple of years, out of everything you've done?
I think having, well, even though it's not fully out yet, but like hearing people like compliment an album that you've made, because it feels really different to the EPs that we've put out. I don't know why, because it's still like a short amount of songs, like a small amount of songs, but like it just feels more like a more meaningful thing for us, because we wrote it together and like made it all at the same time, and it's just nice to like hear people enjoy it.
Yeah. And the connections we're getting with fans as well, like, never thought we'd have such like dedicated fans.
Yeah.
Like, it's mental to think people want to listen to us a lot and see us a lot. It's very humbling. A lot.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.